So I'm Dr. Bruce Rippee with the Strategic Advisor Board. We're talking about sleep, and we have a whole course that I run on that. It's my job is to make health and wellness part of your daily conversation, if nowhere else, at least in your own mind. So sleep. They asked me a long time ago, well, what do you take for sleep if you're going to take something for sleep? First of all, alcohol and marijuana, things like that will get you quicker asleep to stages 1 and 2 in non-REM sleep. Remember, you need to get to 3 and 4. So it actually will retard you from going to 3 and 4. It'll restrict access to some of the appropriate enzymes and hormones that you really do want working. So it's not a good idea. Certainly, there's drugs that you can take that are sedatives, and the sedatives, unfortunately, will allow you to go to 1 and 2. But when you wake up in the morning, you still don't feel right. I'm sure that you're all about some of the muscle relaxers like cyclobenzaprine that is sleep inducing. But everybody that takes those when they've got a strain or sprain say, I'm glad I slept last night, but I don't feel rested. And that's the case. You actually didn't get to 3 and 4 of non-REM, let alone REM sleep. And all of these stages, by the way, are very important. You don't get to skip one. You need 1, 2, 3, and 4 in non-REM sleep, and then you want to get into REM sleep. The other thing is you'll hear all the time where they're using a Benadryl or a Benadryl supplement or something like that. Oh yeah, man, if I get to sleep. Well, believe it or not, that particular substance actually does mimic some of what your body creates and will help you get into the second phase of non-REM relatively quickly. And it'll also leave you there. Sometimes your body can go into 3 and 4 after that. Very rarely do you get all the way into REM sleep when you take any kind of medication at all. So what should you do? First of all, your body really does need magnesium and vitamin D. We don't get a lot of that during certain times of the year, especially when we usually should be sleeping a little bit more. Cold is actually kind of hard on us. It really is. It's also hard on our psyche in some ways. It's indoors a lot more. We're not getting fresh air. It's recycled. You get the whole thing. So in my opinion, anyway, I would say that exercise being at the top of the list, and we'll talk about that in other ways. I'll explain that in a little bit. Or one of these, I'll explain that in. But as far as what you really want to be careful with are any of your drugs and adding in magnesium and vitamin D. Your brain and your body actually likes that. It will relax smooth muscle. It will relax muscle a little bit better. And so there's some really good gummies out there, no jokes, please, but made of vitamin D and, of course, your magnesium. And those are extraordinarily helpful. They really are. Melatonin also does help. The other substance that was actually even better was DHEA. The research was better on it than it was melatonin. But melatonin sounds good. And honestly, anything that you're doing for yourself that makes you feel like, you know what, I think I'll get to sleep faster if I do this, do that. That is a terrific idea. It's really smart. It's a great, hey, you know what, I always feel really mellow if I drink warm milk. Well, the science on warm milk is still, the jury's still out. It's really possible that it does help, but if it helps you, do that. These sleepy time teas, there's no scientific value to taking peppermint before you go to bed in a tea or whatever it is, but I think they're fantastic and I do it myself. So I'm just letting you know that's a great idea. By the way, fluids before you go to sleep is actually a good idea. People say, oh, I'll be up all night. You really won't, not after a while. After a while, your body will use that water in a different way. Just make sure it doesn't have caffeine in it, So I will be back with more tips and tricks. That's it, magnesium and vitamin D, get it in a gummy format. Why? Because it sits on your counter and you walk by it and you go, oh, hey, you know what? I haven't had candy for a while. And you eat those and you'll eat a lot more of them. And you can take them anytime during the day. It will have about the same effect at noon as it does just before you go to bed, but you got to brush your teeth because they are gummies. All right. I'll talk to you next time. This is the Strategic Advisory Board. I look forward to speaking with you. If you have questions, please send them in my email. I would be happy to answer your questions directly. In the meantime, be an example of what's possible.